friend of ours. He is the past president of the Professional Grounds Management Society and the grounds director at Ole Miss, and highly regarded. Just recently did a presentation that was so well received at our St. Louis Landscape Roadshow with Home Nursery. And Jeff is now transitioning into doing webinars and is very, very active in our industry. And Jeff, we just can't thank you enough and appreciate you taking your time today.
Oh, my pleasure. So glad everyone took the time out of their busy day to be here. Tom, thanks for inviting me. Thanks for what Proven Winners is doing and getting out and leading. It means a lot to me. So thanks for the opportunity. Tom, I'm getting ready to put you on mute. Or anything else you want to say here?
No, just so you know, Jeff, these people on the call represent our Proven Winners Signature Gardens, as well as our Proven Winners Certified Landscape Professional designees. So they're representatives from pretty much all regions around our country, and all of them are professionals in our industry. So anxious to hear your presentation today. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Tom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, well, everybody, if you can, as you're looking at Zoom, hopefully you've had a little more experience with Zoom. Find your chat box, because I'm going to ask a few questions. If you could just type in your chat box right now, what it is that you feel like your primary role is in your organization. Are you sales, installation, head weed puller, right? You know, you're whatever it is you may be. Drop that in the design. Okay, we got some designers, and I don't know if y'all can see these. I'll read them out loud. Designer, owner, sales and designer, marketing. This is going to help me tailor a little more as I'm talking as well today. Designer, sales, owner, sales, designer. Okay, perfect. Coordinate Proven Winners Landscape Initiative. Bloom team participant. Nice. Okay, thank y'all. Well, I am Jeff McManus. I'm fortunate I get to do this. This is a little bit of my side hustle, one of my passions. I have a book out called Growing Weeders into Leaders. And for those of you who had video, I'm holding it up there. And this is all about my pathway in my beginning years, and then how we've created award-winning results at the University of Mississippi, where I'm employed now. That's my daytime hustle. I'm sure a lot of you may have a daytime hustle and then a nighttime hustle as well. My speaking is my after hours hustle. But on crazy, I'm a little bit of an entrepreneur like some of you. So I do have a landscaping company called Sweet Tea Services. I've had that company for about 18 years. And as you all know, the key to running any organization is to have great people. So I'm very fortunate. I've got some great people in there. I have probably about 5 full-time people working in Sweet Tea Services. So today, as I'm talking, I may go back and forth between the University of Mississippi, where I have 3 departments, and we have about 50 people. It was a big facility and big property, 1,000 acres, to a little bit more of the ownership of a private owner and running a smaller organization, just under $1 million, but facing the challenges with those as well. So I'm excited to get to share a little bit with you. All of us have been experiencing this total, nuance of our culture, what's happening with the coronavirus. All right, so we've had a couple more people add in: volunteer, coordinator, Castle Rock Blooms, designer, team builder, greenhouse grower, weed plant, and water. Okay, sales, got another salesperson here. So here's a polling question I want to ask, and if you will look, I'm going to hopefully here just drop in a poll question. Hopefully you can see that question. It says, what is business? It says a business like now. So what is business like now for you? Is it slow, steady, crazy busy this year, or same as last year? So if you'll quickly just plug in the answers, it looks like a few of you are able to see that. Hopefully that's coming up on your screen. I'm not sure if you're on a phone, if you'll be able to see that or not. Looks like we've got about 84% of the people who are on the call voted. So let me see if I can share the results with you on this. Share results. Hopefully you can see this. Business, 18%, which is two of the people on the call has been very slow this year. One person said it's very steady. And most of our group, 73%, has says crazy busy this year. So great. It's been a great year for you. Nobody put in same as last year. So isn't that amazing? Our industry, guys, it's ups and downs. And who would have thought this year would have been such an up? All right, so let's talk about this because some interesting things to look at. One of the things I want to talk about that oftentimes we forget in the green industry because we are so task driven, we are so looking at the next project, we sometimes forget the incredible value that we bring to this world. So as a leader that you are, I want to remind you of this. And the reason is because one, you can use this in your sales and you can use this in your growth, but also in developing your teams. Great leaders remind their teams often about what they do. So, one of the things we do is we reduce temperatures and we provide, that shade that's so needed. And we talk a lot about, we reduce the noise and noise pollution and so forth in an environment, but with the plants we do. We also, reducing cooling cost, part of what we do. A big one we do that I hope you're sharing with your people is they helping increase property values for people. And of course, this time, this is one that is huge, that people are going out, and I speak to a lot of parks and recreation people. I speak to a lot of golf course people, a lot of people in our green industry, but this one's huge right here. The plants enhance, the mental, emotional, and health. And so I wanted to share this post that came from Psychology Today, some of the ones that she had listed in that. She talks about plants being great for stress reduction. And we know that, we all know that, but we need to remember that to continue. When you get invited to speak at a Rotary Club, or you're invited to speak in front of a classroom or college campus, reminding people how plants play a part of that. We help with depression. When plants or people are interacting with plants, the depression goes away. That's a study. That's not just people making these things up. People who interact with plants are found to be more creative. And so I love that about what we do. And I really like this one because I had not heard this one until I read this report, is the intellect tends to go up. So I really like that one. We can almost make the case as if you buy plants, you're smarter anyway. And so I like that in her study on that. I'm happy to make that available to you on that link. If you want a rest of that study, just let me know. A lot of us help supply plants to a man-made environment. This is one of the first properties I worked on when I came right out of school. I graduated with a horticulture degree, and I went to the big city of Orlando and worked there at Grand Cypress Resort. What a neat place. And then later I moved down to Miami and worked at a Turnberry Isle. But plants set the price. Plants help create that environment for the customer. Those rooms that we were selling started at $400 a night and went to the thousands of dollars in both of those properties. And big part of that was how people felt when they drove up to the property. Were they going, wow? Or were they going, man, I want to stay here? Or when we get people excited, that's what we do, right? That's what we do as designers. And that's what we do is growing plants for production. We like to work with companies who know how to create these wows, because it makes everybody look good along the supply chain and everybody who helped provide these. Now I'm working in a campus environment. Working here, one of the things we do is a golf course, and golf courses, so much greenery, so much therapeutic value to be out on the course, to just be with nature, to enjoy nature. Also now being on a campus, one of the things that I think we undersell is the value that you as the grower, you as the owner and designer bring to a property like Ole Miss. You see, because where we were when I came 20 years ago, we were sort of the last place campus in our division. I'm in the SEC, and we were in the last place. But because of the great, beautiful plants and the way the people maintain it, we went from last place to first place. And we use plants in helping recruit people to come to this campus. And so one of the things we undersell on is the value to the organization. So we have gotten a couple of recognitions. We call them national championships, 2 from PGMS. Newsweek even recognized us as the most beautiful campus. Princeton Review, USA Today, and we were even mentioned in the New York Times. Well, why does that matter? Well, one, as a leader, if you're helping me provide plants, and I've won 5 national championships here with our team, guess who was a part of that? You were. You're a part of that chain. Finding out what your customers have done, if they have won national recognition, going back and letting your people know the value they play to the customer. Because this touches the heart. I'm kind of hitting my chest right now, the heart. This hits the belief. And if we can tap into the belief of our people, if we can tap into our own belief that what we really are doing is vital and important for our industry, by golly, that's part of us. That's who we are. We create we supply plants to national championship programs, to 5-star programs. And then you have that wall of pictures of all those properties where your plants are being used. Oh, that gives me chill bumps thinking about how many national championships have you all helped create. I bet there's a lot in this group. I bet there's a lot. So let me tell you something crazy. Okay, we call these national championships because we're on a college campus. You know, nobody else calls them that, but we do. But we got a national championship ring with all 5 of these recognizing these. Why did we do that? Why did we do that? We're trying to build our employees. We want them to know their role. We want to inspire them. So look, in a time of crisis, we go back to those core values. We go back to how important the things we do and how important they play. You know, so how important are your employees? You know, I bet if we stood here in the chat room, well, why don't we do that real quick? If in your chat, on a 1 to 10, 10 being they're really, really important, and 1 being like, I don't really want employees, you know. Where are your staff? Where are the people on you right now? I got some 10s. I'm hoping to see some 11s. Oh, I got a 1. I guess Tom's by himself, though. That's probably why. And so, let's see, all 10s. Well, let me ask you this. Let's do it for our customers. How important are your customers? 1 to 10, 10 being, oh, come on, Jeff, that's so easy. That's silly. It is, but guess who's taking care of your customers? That's right, I'm getting a lot of 10s for our customers here. And so, how important are our team members helping our customers? You know, now let me ask you this. Which is easier to work with, plants or people? Right? And when we're doing this live, you know, there's a groan usually in the crowd of people going, oh man, it is so much easier to work with plants, right? Because plants don't talk back and they show up every day, and they're usually not as high maintenance as some people that we get to work with. But we have the challenges, right? We got a challenge with our folks is finding, training, and managing our employees. And even in times like this, when we're probably coming out of our busiest season in the spring, and now we're looking to the summer, and what does that look like? And how do we manage that? How do we lead in that? You know, there's always the challenge of professionalism. And I don't know how many of you on this call have to deal with this, but dealing with the lowballing, the people who are undercutting. You know, Proven Winners is a top brand. It's a name brand, but yet you've got somebody over there who's going to always try to undercut with a product that's similar. You know, don't be threatened by that, because you have a top brand product. Justifying. Now here's one for us. here was a challenge for me, justifying the budgets used in landscaping. And if any of you work with cities or municipalities, sometimes you may be in this. How do you justify the budgets? Is landscaping essential? Well, by golly, I think if we didn't prove that this year, I don't know if we can prove it, right? And are our people essential? Absolutely. Landscaping is essential. Mentally, where did people go when they started shutting down all the restaurants, everything around? Where did people go? People went to the parks as long as they could. They went to the trails. They were doing things to get out and be a part of nature. There was that therapy in that. So here's what I want to share with you today. I want to share with you the plan in leading during the crisis. Okay, I'm going to share with you the simple plan. And here it is what is your home run for your organization? That's the number one thing to figure out. What is your home run for your organization? In other words, what's the win? Now you're going to have more than one, right? You're going to have more than one. I realize that. But it may be number one, in your case, you need to be profitable. You need to be profitable. Number two, it's a three-step plan. Select the path you want to run on. And I'm going to talk about this in just a minute. The template, super easy. I just pick the template. I'm going to show you my template. The template that I used to create 5 national championships, the way I got in front and had credibility. You know, I'm in landscaping at a major college campus, and landscaping's not always on the top of everybody's list. It's not always in the decision making, but I wanted to be a very important part of what this campus was doing. And so the third part of this plan was enjoying the winning results. These are the 3 things that I did. These are the 3 things I'm doing in the crisis. Is I figured out what the home run was. Then I figured out quickly what the template is. What is the simple little steps I need to follow? And now I'm enjoying that championship ring. But here's the pressure. Once you get the ring, once you create the results, like most of you have, you've got to do it again next season, next year. And you all are some of the leaders, top leaders in our industry. So how do you get those winning results even next year, right? And so for me, the key is to follow this plan. So if you don't mind, I want to just share with you a few of these, because I think they'll translate into your life really well. I really do. So the home run, I had to figure out what the home run was. So I'm just going to share a couple of mine. Whether it's to make money, whether it's to have more sales, to have better customers, maybe it's to fire really bad customers that you have. Here's my first one. I wanted extreme buy-in with my staff and leadership. Not just buy-in. I wanted extreme buy-in where people wanted to be here and work. They loved landscaping in their work so much that on weekends, they were going to go on a tour to a local garden. They were going to take classes on their own. They were going to get certifications without me asking. Could I get people to buy in and to be a part of that? That's a home run for me when I can get people truly bought in. Working in a large organization, I needed to be funded consistently, right? It's so easy to cut landscaping. It's a line item. And I don't make money on this campus per se. Now, I don't have a revenue, but I wanted to make sure that we were consistently funded. I'm going to share with you how I did that. But it may be that you're wanting to make sure you're in front of the customer. How do you continue to go through some great sales? This year we had a great year. Who would have thought? But what about during drought times? How do we make sure we're still selling plants? And to be a vital part of the organization, that was a home run to me. I wanted to differentiate myself from other departments. I wanted to be top of mind. How do we differentiate ourselves from our competition? How do we show that our plants, to pay a little bit more for a proven winner's plant, a plant that has a patent, differentiating ourselves. It's a better plant. It's a better quality. It's going to have certain features that we need. So this is what your home runs, define what your home run is, okay? Then the second part, remember the second part was just to create the template. Now, I'm just going to share quickly what my template is. So I just shared with you my home run. And so I want to share with you my template. And there's going to be I think it's 4 parts here I put. I may have eliminated one. I think I got 4. And it's a simple acronym of GROW, grow. So great teams. I need great teams. I need to keep raising the results. You got to keep raising the results. I need to show offense scores and winners win. Like, Jeff, what in the world does this mean? Okay, just stay with me. See, you need great teams, whether you're by yourself or whether you have a whole staff of people. You've got to depend on your vendors, your suppliers. You've got to have great distribution, great trucking. You've got to have great people on your team. So I want to share with you quickly how we had to create great teams. Now, one of the great motivators people think is money. But unfortunately, in a university system, money is not always a great motivator because we don't pay a lot. So we had to be creative and think about how are we going to create a great team where people are working outside, sweating, dealing with ticks and mosquitoes, dealing in poison ivy, having to deal with all the fun stuff that we deal with. People running over their plants, students, doing all kind of crazy things and plants being destroyed. And so one of the things that we focused on was their purpose. Now, remember I told you about that championship? That was another way. We talked about championships and being the best of the best. But this one right here was purpose, because this talks to the inside of people. Now listen, I'm not a John F. Kennedy, we're going to send man to the moon kind of guy, because I just don't feel like I'm that inspiring guy. But I just simply talk to our people about what they do. And so as a leader, this is where it's a real challenge for us as leaders to do this, because we're so driven by our list of things that we need to do each day. I know you're on this call because you get a lot of things done. You're a high achiever. Congratulations. But when you want to go to that inspiring great teams, you've got to stop and think. And a lot of times we don't like that because we don't feel like we're doing something. And if we're not doing something, we feel like, by golly, I'm not going to be lazy. I got to get busy. But think this through, because a little thinking time will help you create the purpose for your team. And then when you create purpose and you can talk about the purpose of the organization in a bigger picture with more value, you tap into me, you tap into my beliefs. And by golly, Mr. or Ms. Landscaping sales team, if you can touch my beliefs, you're going to get extreme buy-in. Because now I want to work with you. We're going to work together to accomplish whatever that purpose is. So I'm going to flesh this out for you. I'm going to show you an example of one of the little things I did. Kind of stumbled on this. I'm not going to get into how I stumbled into it, but this has been a critical motivator for me. And it doesn't cost me a dime. It doesn't cost a dime. 62% of prospective students who come to a college campus. Now, this is a study that was done across the United States. 62% will decide in the first few minutes of a college visit if they're coming to that university. 62%. Do you know what the number one determining factor is? Well, I hope you do, because you're looking at a picture full of plants. For those of you that are on the phone, you can't see it. And we're in the landscaping world. That's why I used this. We help create decisions for college kids to come to a college campus. Why does that matter, Jeff? Why does that matter? Who cares? Well, let me tell you why. Let me tell you, you may be supplying me with these plants. You may be a part of our recruiting system. You may be helping me with this. So back up a little bit, and look at the big reason, the bigger picture. Why do we do it? Why do we go out there and work hard every day, Mr. and Ms. Landscaper? Why do we get our knuckles bloody? Why do we get stuck with thorns? Why do we get poison ivy? Maybe we're helping recruit a guy like Bill Parson, who ended up coming to our college, got a degree in engineering, and went on to work for NASA and became the director of NASA. Maybe in a small way, my plants helped recruit him, the landscaping. Maybe your plants that you grew in your nursery helped recruit Bill Parson, who put people into space. Or maybe you recognize a picture of this guy right here who's written dozens and dozens of top sellers, John Gresham. John Gresham went to law school here, found out real quick that he was a better storyteller than he was a lawyer. And he, maybe in a small way, the landscaping helped recruit him. And maybe we're helping create these novels. Or maybe we're recruiting top athletes like All-American football player Patrick Willis, who went on to play for the 49ers, All-Pro. Maybe we help recruit him. Or maybe we help recruit Dr. Hannah Gay, who went to school here and came within a whisper of curing HIV. She was Time Magazine most 100 influential people. Plants help recruit prospects to a college campus. So what we do and what you do helps change the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I just gave you one way to create a deeper purpose. You see, we call that here, we call this process I just described to you, I call it two words. We call it cultivating greatness. See, we're all cultivating, right? We're growing, we're turning it over, we're growing things, we're making that dirt right in soil, and we're adding those nutrition, all that stuff. And the greatness are those that come in and do great things. You and I, we cultivate greatness. We don't just sell plants. We don't just plant plants. We don't just do anything. What we do is we help change our world. Folks, I just took one example. You could take that with any customer. That works for any customer. Are you maintaining a lawn? Are you maintaining a property with doctors on it? Oh my goodness, think about all the people they're saving. Think about how when they come home and they have that refuge, your company's helping do that. You see, for the purpose of landscaping, maybe we increase the peace of mind and the property value. That's us, that's our organization. Maybe we give a sense of satisfaction to our customers. You know, that's a bigger price tag. And our company does it the right way. We have high standards, right? That's the proven winner's way, the signature way. We don't do it like the other guys. Our brand is a strong brand. Folks, this is strong. It does take a little courage to talk about this because you know what? Nobody comes out and says, hey, Mr. or Ms. Landscaper, you should talk about purpose. You should tell your people the bigger picture. But when I stumbled on this, I stumbled onto something that absolutely revolutionized the way I lead people, the way I manage people, to inspire them to make sure I connect the dots to their task, from their task of what they do to the bigger picture, to the glorious picture of what they really do. Jeff, I think you drank the Kool-Aid. I think you've gone off the deep end. I probably have, but I believe it. And what I believe has to be contagious. You see, because if I believe it doesn't really matter, that's contagious too. And if I believe that, well, you know, I can just replace you, Mr. or Ms. Employee, you know, staff person, that's felt. Because they don't feel like they're a part of the team. They're not going to buy in. Remember, I needed extreme buy-in. I need great teams. So leading in a crisis, we got to communicate our purpose. Remember, what is it we really do? How is it that we're helping this country recover? How is it that we're going to continue to be a big billion-dollar industry that we are? Remind people what we really do. Remind them. And let me just make a footnote on this, but thank them. That's powerful, to thank them. And if you can do it one-on-one, whether it's a supplier, whether it's your support team, when you can tell them these things one-on-one and you can specifically say, thank you for this, they'll say thank you. And they're not going to go, oh, wow, Jeff, that was so amazing. You changed my life. They're not going to say that. But I guarantee you, in a year, 5 years, and when they retire, they'll remember that. They'll remember those times when you took them aside and told them thank you. So here it is in a tweet, okay? Here it is. And some of us were now on Twitter and all those kind of crazy things. So plants and people grow healthier in the right environment and struggle in an environment that is not conducive to growth. The leader's behavior and attitude are very important to the environment of the organization. Whether we're in crisis, but especially when we're in crisis. Leader, yours role and my role is very important. We set that temperature. So be the leader who helps cultivate a healthy culture. Listen, I used to think it was my staff. You know, I did everything I could, gave them uniforms, did all these things, and then I'd walk away and I'd go, man, I've done it. And they'd come back with all the drama and all the yeah stuff, and I'm like, man, it's because I wasn't leading. I didn't know how. Nobody had told me. I'm going to wait and share what I really did here to help change that culture. But it's not that culture anymore. See, the home run for me was to get extreme buy-in, remember? I needed that from my staff. But when I got it from my staff, you know who saw it? The leadership, my bosses, which they began to even trust us even more, which gave us more funding. You know, it's a little byproduct because they were seeing our staff not standing around talking, not just like working every now and then. They saw our staff really engaged. It made a big difference. You know, I also wanted to be funded consistently, and that helped with the funding. When I started reminding our leadership of the vital role we play in recruiting, we haven't had a real budget cut in 20 years. We became a vital part. Even during this crisis, my boss says, we are known for the beautiful campus we have. He's using that as his filter. See, I want to make sure we're a vital part. So I've got to sell. I got to do a soft sell, create the trust, create the buy-in, tell the purpose, what it is we really do. Yeah, I got to drink the Kool-Aid, and I got to serve it to others. So do you want to ignite your staff? Well, absolutely you do. And I've got some other tips that I would love to just share with you. But Tom tells me we only got 6 hours to talk today. I'm just kidding, Tom. Tom says we only got about an hour, and I'm trying to wrap it up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you as my gift 21 ways to cultivate greatness in your team. These are just some things that I jotted down, put down in a PDF form, and they're super simple to do. But if you want it, you can text me 44222 and write one word, Cultivate 2020. And that'll trigger it to automatically email it to you. I think you'll have to give it the email. And then it'll make sure you write Cultivate 2020 as one word. Don't put a space in there. And that'll trigger for you to have that free. That's my gift to you leader, because I want you to have that. That's my gift. So look, I had the grow. We're going to move quickly now, so stay with me. The grow was write great teams. The R was raising the results. I know this as leaders, you've got to perform. You cannot rest as the leader. Proven winners is not happy with the results we had last year or the year before. We're consistently wanting to be better, the industry standards, right? And old Colin Powell had a great quote. I love this, that a dream doesn't become reality through magic. These things aren't going to happen just poof. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. I'm talking to the group that does that does the sweat. So in a crisis, good leaders use collaboration. This is how I was able to raise results. This is what took us to those top tier properties. We were one of the worst. We were one of the lowest funded. We're still one of the lowest funded, but we got the better results. So I'm going to share a story for you to help explain collaboration, what it looked like for us in this little bitty crisis that we had. And now in the center of our campus, we have this beautiful, magnificent green space, and it's called The Grove. If you Google The Grove, you're going to see it's 10 acres of just pristine grass. But what people love about The Grove, yes, they love to come out there and read, and the students do that. And this was designed by the Frederick Law Olmsted family and so forth. And is they love weekends when we have football games. And here's a picture of it. We're setting up our trash cans. And this is The Grove on game day, when we have our football team walking down the middle and we have all of our fans there. You don't see any grass. You see it wall to wall people. And it is crazy fun, a great time. ESPN came and we did all the fun things when we played Alabama that year. And I won't mention that we did beat Alabama that year. It was a good thing. And, that's kind of what it looks like when they leave. And they leave us these little happies, right? They leave us all these little presents and say, oh, thank you. Well, that sort of took our breath, right? Sort of hurt. All, leaving the tents and all this garbage. And we would come in on Sundays, and it would take us all day Sunday, but the Grove would look terrible. It didn't look like that grass in that area that we were so proud of. And our staff, we said, okay, we've got to figure out how to do this better. How can we use collaboration to raise the results? Because you imagine a recruit, people you're recruiting coming in on Sunday, and they see this in the Grove. What kind of first impression do we give? I mean, that's, you've maybe never been here. What kind of impression does that make? Man, it's terrible. So we ask our staff, what can we do to raise the results? We didn't necessarily say those words, but what can we do to make this better? Now, I had my own ideas. Now, leader, take note. You've got great ideas. That's probably why you're one of the reasons you're the leader. You also have initiative and you have drive. Collaboration can sometimes be a little challenging for us in the leadership role because it causes us to slow down. We already know the answers, Jeff. We know how to do it. Why do I need to get input? Because you're trying to get extreme buy-in. When you get extreme buy-in, you get to go on vacation. You get to do other things because you've got people who are going to run down the field with the ball and score. They're going to hit the home runs for you. So here's what we did. We slowed down and we asked the question, how can we make this better? How can we make this a win? What's our home run? And somebody raised their hand and said, I know what we can do. We can close the Grove on Saturdays. And we all laughed because you're not going to keep 10, 20,000 people out of the Grove on game day. So I said, what else can we do? And somebody says, what if we get a contractor and we get them to come in and clean it up, and let's clean it up at midnight. So when people come in Sunday, it looks great. Problem was, when we put it out for bid, nobody bid on it. Nobody wanted to tackle this. It was too challenging. So we go back to the staff and we say, what can we do to get a win? What's our home run? And somebody raised their hand and says, what if we invited a nonprofit group, a student group, to help us clean it up and had them come in at midnight? And we all laughed. We thought that was kind of funny, but we reached out to a group and we asked them, can y'all bring some college kids in and help? The next Saturday home football game, they showed up with 80 college kids at midnight, and they cleaned the Grove in about an hour, hour and a half. We were like, whoa, we didn't have to bring in near as many people. We got it done in like less than 2 hours. Holy cow, that was the win. So much so that we now have become the go-to for nonprofits in fundraising, because we can pay the nonprofit group where it's a good win for them and it saves us money. So that became our collaboration, right? Where people don't see this kind of mess on a Sunday, they see this. They see the nice growth. So leader, the first thing you do is grow a great team. Number two, you're going to raise the results. You're going to use collaboration. Get people to buy in, to be a part of the solution, even when you know what the answer is. The critical part is getting your frontline leaders to buy into this. I love seeing our frontline supervisors slowing down and getting the frontline staff to get their opinion. Now, it doesn't mean we do this every single time, but in big challenges, our buy-in has gone up tremendously. Our results have gone up with fewer people. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. Amen, brother. Amen. You see, my job is not to get the result, get the credit. Give the credit back to the team. Look at the results they've done. And so when the media talks to you, you give the credit back to the command, the top, and those that work with you. Always giving the credit to others. Extreme buy-in. Use collaboration. So here's another crazy thing we did. This is just a super fun example. You know how when you go into a basketball arena, you see these national championship banners hanging or whatever wins they're proud of. What about us in landscaping? What about you, nursery grower? What about you? What results have y'all done that you can start recognizing? So here's what we did. We hung banners in our truck shed. Now, you can't see it in the pictures, but all of our equipment is right in here. This is just a metal truck shed. We got 4 out of our 5 banners in this picture right here. 2 of our employees were walking out to go get on a piece of equipment, and I saw one of them kind of hit the other one in the arm. He says, I was here for those 4. They're taking pride of ownership, taking that, hey, this is ours. We own this. We're some of the best, right? And so we're raising those results. So here's some of the results I wanted to share that have helped us. And we went from mowing from 10 days to 4 days, and we're mowing more. We have fewer people. We have more grass. That was a huge time saver, right? We had the smallest budget in the SEC. We were able to create a system of raising results. People became masters of what their areas, and the motivation went up. Leaders, right now in the crisis, this is the time to help build with collaboration. Okay, so look, here we got the first one was great teams. The second one was raising results, right? It's growth, great teams, raising results. Now here's the third one, offense scores. Offensive scores. This is where so many of you are so good at. You know how to score. You know how to make money. You know how to get the ball down the field. Congratulations, good job. I'm so proud to be getting to talk to you. Pat Summit, she was national championship basketball coach for the Tennessee women volunteer basketball team. Offense sells tickets. Defense wins games. Rebounding wins national championships. Well, here's my spin on it from the landscaping version of what Pat just said. Offense builds great employees, stops weeds, and wins customers. You see, we got to be proactive. We love employees who have initiative, right? We love employees who will go and do without us having to tell them what to do. We love suppliers who have great customer service, who turn around and help us, who are proactive, checking on us. Leaders are proactive. This is ways to win consistently. Okay, this is the way to get you even to the higher level. So here was one way. I'm just going to share one way that was absolutely a game changer in our offense. Is we created an in-house system to grow winners, right? We grow plants, But I had to create, and our team had to create a way to grow winners. Because I needed to get in their head, and I needed to make sure their beliefs were lining up with what we believed, which was to be the best of the best. We created this system where we, level 100, where we had orientation, and we cared and showed them the first day they came on board how to be a winner in our organization, how to be a superstar employee. I didn't wait and let anybody else teach them. We taught them with our key leaders. But now we have this program, and it's a classes that we take them through. Then the next is we want to make sure they had some basic training, that they knew how to do their job successfully. And then there were some that we needed to make sure they had the technical training, which is actually everybody who was mowing, that they did it the way our high standards are, right? They didn't do it the way they felt like was the right way. They didn't scout the grass. We don't allow people to take a weed eater and turn it up on its side and edge with it. That's okay if you want to do that, but that's not the clean, crisp look we want. So we put that in our technical training on what it means to be the best of the best here on our campus. So we created this program, and no longer am I frustrated because, oh man, that's not the way we're supposed to do it. Y'all know I've told you. I don't have to do that anymore because we've got a system. I found out great companies have systems. I don't care how big they are. I don't care how small they are. The great companies create a system. So when you go through crisis, you come back to the system. The system is what takes you through. Level 400, we created that so that people went through ground cover, trees, and shrubs, and they knew how to do it our way. It became our own custom way to do it. And then level 500 was more of our leadership development, where we focus on how to be a leader. Everybody gets to be a leader because everybody leads one person every day themselves, right? And we talked a little more about specialized training for selective staff. Maybe there were some key things like stump grinding that we did, or the skid steer, or certain pieces of equipment. That was sort of like our paratrooper courses, right? Not everybody does it, but sharpshooters and those type of specialized. And then our tree. If you want to become a specialist and you weren't going to necessarily get a certified arborist, you can become a UM tree specialist. It became our in-house certification program. Game changer. Gave people magnets every time they completed these levels. Proactive. Getting employees to buy in. Getting our vendors, our suppliers to see our bigger picture of what we're trying to do, the results. Show them. Teach them. I had a company reach out to me, Bear Creek University, a Bear Creek company in Virginia. They said, we're in the construction business. Can you teach us how you went on offense and show us, because we're doing construction, we've got about 11 people, but we're fully expecting to grow. Absolutely. So we worked with them on onboarding their new employees. They wanted to have the right standards. They were trying to create that buy-in. And then how they freed up their owners' time so their owners can go on vacation, that the owners aren't having to do all these work things. And then recruiting. They went to the high schools and showed them the plan that we developed. We called it Bear Creek University. They showed it to the career people there at the high school, and they made sure that high school students came to Bear Creek University first, to Bear Creek Company, to this company, because they had tracks to run on. Bear Creek had a way to get high school students into their program quickly. And in a crisis, this company went from 11 full-time employees to 32 full-time employees. They never could have done it without the system, not could have done it as quickly as they did. So be proactive. Be proactive in creating that system. A lot of you have that system up here. That's great, but it may be better if you get it out of here in case you get hit with a big truck. Get that system out of your head and get it to where others can use it. So here it is in a tweet. Assemble highly qualified, team-oriented staff is the key to achieving championship results. Well, folks, we got almost almost finished here. I apologize for going a little bit long, but here's the last one, the winning attitude. So remember, the first one was the G, great teams. Number 2 was the R, that was raising the results. 3 was on offense, right? We'll win with offense. Now's the winning attitude. Winners win. And I found out that it matters who our people hang around with. You remember that drama stuff I was telling you about that I was having? I used to think that if I got them all the tools and I got all the processes done, that hey, I got it. But then my staff would come in here, some of my leaders, and say, holy cow, they're just out there yan and complaining, and we've done all this, and yet they're complaining and rumors. And so here was something nobody ever taught me what to do, is to be proactive, using that O, being on offense with the culture. I started exposing our team to people who thought the way I thought, the right way I felt like, right? A positive way. So I exposed them to John Maxwell. I exposed them to Zig Ziglar. I let Zig Ziglar influence them. I put them in front of good TED Talks. We still do this today. You know, we take them to conferences. We take them to the local library. I bring in highly qualified speakers, paid speakers. I invest in them. And I use that to change the way they think, right? And through the challenge of this is their attitudes changing, right? As I started getting clear on where we're going. We want to be the best of the best. So bring in some of the best of the best. Let them hear what winners think. And you know what? You know what happened? Those that didn't think like winners, after being exposed to this, they began to leave. They began to find other opportunities. And so that was good. That was good for them, and that was good for us. So then we were challenged to create this thing called a landscape creed. And I'm going to close with this. The landscape creed became something that we collaborated on. And it slowed us down, but we did this during bad weather days when we couldn't go outside as easily. And we would spend a few minutes working on something like this. This is crazy, but it was our core beliefs, like who we are. And I had never been a leader much like this. I never really thought about, well, who are we? And what is it that we really do? And I was challenging, man, write down who you are. What do you want to be known for? And here's what our staff came up with. You know, we're the Department of Landscape Services. We're a team of hardworking individuals, united under one banner and dedicated to inspiring others. Man, I love that. You know, there's that big picture. We inspire people. We lead by example. I couldn't get all this on one page, so I had to go to another slide. We lead by example. We adapt and overcome. Never stop training and growing. Dedicate ourselves to professional integrity. Serve with respect and pride. Cultivate greatness. Remember, we talked about that earlier. That's what we really do, is we cultivate greatness. We achieve quality results with an eye for detail. We promote and provide a beautiful environment. We excel through high standards and excellence within. Now, this last line relates more to our culture and relates more to our mascot, right? I am a landscape rebel. We're the Ole Miss Rebels, right? So we're a landscape rebel. Now, we say this creed every Monday morning. We use the creed when we're hiring people because our staff has been empowered by this because they came up with it. I helped wordsmith it. I helped lead the charge, but these are their words. And if you notice on the left-hand side, if you look down the left side of this slide, it spells landscape. The acronym, you know, is the landscape. And so everybody has this. Most of our team has it memorized now. We've been saying this for probably 7 years now. But those core values became part of them, their beliefs, their buy-in. I needed extreme buy-in. This has helped reinforce this. This would have never happened if we hadn't hung around people with winning attitudes. One of our speakers who came challenged us to create our own landscape creed. And so in doing that, we created the high results, and we've become a vital part of the campus. Folks, as a great leader, what is it costing when an organization doesn't do anything? Right? You know the answer to that. If we're resting on last year's results, if we're resting on simply somebody else taking us there, it's going to cost us. Maybe opportunities, maybe growth, maybe some good people. So again, I want to thank you for having me. Thank you for being a part of this. I really, really appreciate you being here. And thank you for leading in our industry. You may not think of yourself as a leader, but I guarantee you, you are, or you wouldn't have been invited to participate in this. So there's my free gift again, in case you didn't get it. If you need a speaker for your organization or you're part of an association, I'd be honored to be a speaker for that group. If you have a question, feel free to put it in the chat, and I'm going to open up real quick the microphones. If you want to talk, you can unmute yourself, and we'll have a question, Q&A time. So let's see if we have, I got 3 in the chat right here. All right, let's see any questions. You're welcome for the presentation. If you want to ask a question, just let me know and I'll unmute you. I'm going to hang around here for a few minutes. Tom, I'm going to unmute you as well. Let's see here, Tom, unmute. Tom, I think you're unmuted now. Thank you for having me, Tom.
Oh, Jeff, thank you for taking your time. It was outstanding. And I know to all of you that are still on here, Jeff has offered to do a follow-up here in a few weeks. And I hope that's still on, Jeff. If so, we'll coordinate it with everyone. He's got another presentation that I think would be an excellent follow-up. And we'll work with Jeff on that as far as timing and get the word out to all of you. But any other questions for Jeff, feel free to ask him. Otherwise, I sure appreciate everybody jumping on today, and we'll be in touch with you. And Jeff, thank you very much. Outstanding presentation as always.
Well, thank you again, Tom. Great group. And I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.
Okay,
I'm going to end the meeting now. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.